Now it's time to move on to the Dallas Cowboys. And Jerry, they're 1-2 and just got beat handily by the Bears. The Bears looked really good. I mean, you could see Ben Johnson getting back to his ways. He got past his old team. He took that beating like a man, and now he's like, "All right, pressure's off. We're gonna just let it hang, let it fly." Caleb Williams throws 4 touchdowns in the game, 19 to 28, 298 yards. Whew. I mean, what can you ask for more than that? Their rookie Burton had 3 catches for 101 yards and a touchdown. They just looked like they were having fun. Their defense was pressuring Dak Prescott. They had 3 interceptions in the fourth quarter alone. Dak was 31 of 40 for 251. They lost CeeDee Lamb. I'm not sure. He tried to run it off. He tried to play on it, but it seemed to be more of a major injury. He wasn't able to play on it. We're going to get more news on that. But 1-2, and again, I hate to keep bringing up Jerry Jones and all that because the players have to play. Their defense or secondary looks disconnected. Eberflus looks like he's disconnected from reality and what he needs to be calling. I don't think he called a great game. I think this team, these DBs have played a lot of man coverage throughout their time, and all of a sudden they're not playing man coverage and they're putting them in zones. You're putting them in places that they're unfamiliar with. But, some of these plays are guys just getting beat straight up, and that is what it is. But when you lose one of the best pass rushers in football, and then you get very little pass rush, and everybody's like, well, pass rush is going to help the DBs cover. Yes, it does. Micah Parsons being on the field helps everybody. And I know last year they just weren't a good defense, but he still had 12 sacks. And so a guy who can get 12 sacks in a season, and he only played, I think he played, 12 games? 12 or 13 games? But he would have been a factor. You don't trade away a guy like that right before the season because you're literally building your defense with him in mind. You're building your roster with him in mind. So when ownership gets involved and says, hey, we don't want to pay him, oh, man, he's offending us, and we're going to put our big boy pads on, and we're going to get our team better. We can get a couple first-round picks for him. First-round picks don't help you win games now. They don't. They don't. They don't help you win games now. You're paying your franchise quarterback. Everybody's saying, oh, well, he's doing this to get Archie Manning. How does that plan look now? How does it look? Now he's probably going to use the 2 picks to potentially get a great pass rusher, maybe a generational talent, maybe a guy who can get to the quarterback, who has the 4th most sacks of anybody in his first 4 years. Maybe you get a guy like that in the first round. Or maybe you just pay the guy who you had and not trade him away to an NFC contender and make them a better team and make your team worse. Now you're losing 31-14 to the Bears. Your high-paid receiver gets banged up. Your offensive line doesn't look great. Your defensive line doesn't look great. Your DBs are having a hard time. It's just not a recipe for success. And even the one win you had was a dogfight against the Giants. You won it in OT, and the Giants gave you all you can handle. So you could be sitting here at 0-3. And I guess you don't care if you're Jerry Jones. You thought, hey, we're closer to winning the Super Bowl now than we were with him. No, you're not. You're nowhere near a Super Bowl. You're not even near the playoffs. You're barely near football. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, if y'all are still defending this, I don't know what else it takes for y'all to see it. I'm seeing fans still online talking about Micah Parsons wouldn't have made a difference. That just sounds like hurt talking. Because that makes absolutely no sense.
It doesn't make any sense, Richard. When I watch the Dallas Cowboys, I see a team without an identity. Like you said, they're totally disconnected defensively. You don't know really what you're looking at offensively either. And like you said last week, they could have easily lost that game against New York, and they probably should have lost that game. This team, they look like they're in for a long season at 1-2. I do not see them being competitive. And like you said, what they gave up in Micah Parsons to what they got, a couple first-round picks, and obviously Kenny Clark, You just made the Green Bay Packers one of the best teams in football. Those picks are going to be in the high 20s, if not the low 30s. And I just don't know what value you're going to receive in the long term from that, other than roster flexibility with additional cap room. This Cowboys team, like I said, is in for a long, long season. As far as the Chicago Bears go, I mean, this was a get off your back and rally type game for them after being absolutely obliterated in Detroit last week. You got to love to see it for Ben Johnson. Like, obviously, he's a Lions fan. I have a lot of respect for him and what he did here in Detroit. It's tough that he stayed in the division and obviously went to Chicago, but you still want the guy to have success because he's very, very talented in what he's doing. And we saw that today. And you see the Detroit identity carry over today when they were up 10 points and at the 4-yard line at 4th and goal, Tom Brady said, I'm more old school. I would kick this. But Ben Johnson said, screw it, I'm going for it. And ultimately, it resulted in a touchdown and a 17-point lead. That really closed the door on any hope that the Dallas Cowboys had in that game. So you got to love to see it. This was one of Caleb Williams' better games as a pro. This Bears team is very, very talented on both sides of the ball. We'll see if they can, make something happen beyond just this game against the lowly Dallas Cowboys.
Man, this Eagles-Rams game was incredible. It seemed like it was all Rams. It seemed like it was all Rams, and they had the Super Bowl champs figured out. But, of course, Jalen Hurts rallies the troops, starts going to all day, always open. A.J. Brown breaks the game open, runs all the way back, gets the lead. The defense shows up in a big way, blocks 2 field goals. They blocked 2 field goals to win this game. An incredible game by the Philadelphia defense, an incredible game of resiliency and adjustments. They made the adjustments. Obviously, they struggled early on, but they figured them out. I think the Rams just have a good game plan for the Eagles, and it's just one of those David and Goliath. I think we're going to see this matchup again in the playoffs. I hope we do, because these two teams have a great feel for one another. It almost felt like a divisional game the way these teams played. Jalen Hurts changed the way he played. He played a really good game throwing the football. They've been leaning on the run every single week, but this week he did it with his arms. I think that's the makings of a great team. Is showing that you can win whatever way that you need to win. And that's what Super Bowl champions do. He was 21 of 32 for 226 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He was sacked 4 times. They lost Lane Johnson, the superstar right tackle, the all-pro, the all-world right tackle, early in the game, and they were able to overcome that. Saquon Barkley only averaged 2.6 a carry in this game, but Jalen Hurts picked up the slack. He had 40 yards rushing and a touchdown with his legs. He had 3 touchdowns with his arms. A.J. Brown, 6 receptions for 109 in the tug. Devontae Smith had a touchdown of his own. And that's what has to happen sometimes. You have to figure it out. Hey, we got to go through the air this week? Sure, that's the way we got to do it. They're finding ways to win. They found a way to win it versus a very tough, very competitive Rams team. The Rams gave them everything they could handle, but they got to find a way to fix those special teams. I don't think I've ever seen a game end with a team blocking 2 field goals to win the game. Then Jordan Davis, the big fella, takes the return all the way to put the icing on the cake, to put the cherry on top. Another touchdown to make this game seem a little bit different than the score, a little the margin a little wider than what the game really was, obviously. But an incredible game, and I think that's going to be a preview of a playoff matchup that we get between these two teams. I can't wait to see it. The All-Pro Zach Bond had an interception in the game against Matt Stafford. He played solid, but again, they fell asleep at the wheel in the second half. Rams only scored 7 points after halftime. You can't have that in a game against the Super Bowl champs. Super Bowl champs scored 26 after halftime, 26 points after the half. So clearly they found the answers. I know people talked about people don't make halftime adjustments, and that's just 10 minutes. You don't do anything in 10 minutes. We've made halftime adjustments, and it appears the Eagles made halftime adjustments, scoring 26 points in the second half. That's halftime adjustments. I guess it's 20 points if you take the Jordan Davis return out. But still, they made huge adjustments, found a way to be efficient, found a way to get going through the air after only scoring 7 points in the first half. That's what you got to do.